Boy, oh boy, did we get an interesting edition of SmackDown Live here tonight. well. A five-man gauntlet match, the debut of Sanity, and a tag team championship match after tonight's 2-hour edition of SmackDown Live, and I can safely tell you that this was the best edition of SmackDown Live all year. And boy, does it ring true that the editions of these WWE shows with the most, dare I say it, wrestling always tend to shine. Because if you think back, what was the best edition of Monday Night Raw in all of 2018? Well, I'll be damned if it was the edition with the 2-hour gauntlet matchup. Here tonight, you have a 1-hour gauntlet matchup that took up most of this show, and holy shit, this show was pretty great here tonight. And I'd go far as to say that this show blew last night's Monday Night Raw out of the water. That's no doubt in my mind, and it definitely surpassed whatever we saw Sunday night on Money in the Bank. Tonight's SmackDown Live was a very good show, and of course I'm going to come on here wishing you guys a happy Rusev Day, and I'm going to come on here with a happy attitude because yes, our boy Rusev is finally getting his due. WWE is making Rusev the number one contender for the WWE Championship. He came out successful in our 5-man gauntlet matchup here tonight, and he will be challenging AJ Styles, the phenomenal one, at the Extreme Rules pay-per-view for the WWE Championship. So definitely a very good edition of SmackDown Live here tonight. Of course, there was a negative. There was one big negative in the middle of this show, to start this show. WWE seemed to get the negative out of the way to begin with. And of course, it was none other than Carmella who gave you your big stinking L on this show here tonight. But besides that, a pretty good edition. We saw some awesome stuff on tonight's SmackDown Live. A very good tag team championship match on this show here tonight. A gauntlet match that was booked very well, and as far as in-ring goes, delivered. That was great as well. And on top of that, we got some decent matches. Becky Lynch versus Peyton Royce. And you got the debut of Sanity, who we have been eagerly awaiting on SmackDown Live just for some time now. And it seems like Sanity is being put right into the picture. They're pulling no punches. They're not even putting them in there against jobbers. They're going straight into the mix against the Usos. There were also some questions left after tonight's SmackDown Live. Daniel Bryan seems to be going into a program with the Bludgeon Brothers. What is the deal with that? Well, we're going to talk about it all on your SmackDown Live review here tonight. This is your review for SmackDown Live, June 19th, 2018. And this is the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. You are listening to Joel Perez here, and we're going to talk about it all right here on tonight's edition of your SmackDown Live review. But of course, before we go into talking about all of that in specific detail like we always do, with my honest opinion like I always give here on your SmackDown Live review, I just want to tell you guys to make sure to go check out all the other content on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. And we had a bit of breaking news before this show came on the air, a couple hours before, as a matter of fact, earlier in the evening or afternoon, whenever it was. Big Cass, of course, a SmackDown Live superstar, has been released from the WWE. Breaking stuff, and we gave you a 10-minute video detailing everything and talking about that big news story. Make sure to go check it out. If you're watching this right now, whatever you want to do, you want to stop this video in its tracks, go watch that and come back here afterwards. Make sure to go check it out. Breaking news, Big Cass release. That's about a 10-minute video. Make sure to go check that one out. We talk about in detail that entire Big Cass situation. Or if you're done with your SmackDown Live review, make sure to go check it out. Big news story, big video right there. Big Cass released from the WWE. Make sure to go check it out either while you're watching your SmackDown Live review in the middle of this, take a pause from this review, or after you're done watching your SmackDown Live review and results video here tonight. So make sure to go do that, as well as to go check out your Monday Night Raw review and results for last night, June 18th, 2018. We talk about everything in detail that happened on Monday Night Raw last night as well, in the same format that we did here on SmackDown Live. Of course, big stuff happened on there as well, at least in the first 2 segments. After that, the show plummeted to being a usual Monday Night Raw, but the show started off with Ronda Rousey getting suspended from WWE. Holy shit, what happened there? If you didn't watch Raw, go check out the review, or if you did watch Raw and you want my in-depth analysis on that, make sure to go check it out, as well as my thoughts on what happened between Dolph Ziggler and Seth Rollins' impromptu Intercontinental Championship match, which left us with a new Intercontinental Champion. Go check it out on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel right now, as well as all the content that was uploaded over the weekend. We had 2 pay-per-views, one of which was clearly better than the other, that being NXT TakeOver Chicago. A review for that amazing show was uploaded on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel this past weekend on Saturday after that show went off the air. So make sure to go check out that review, as well as your Money in the Bank preview or review and results, which was uploaded after that show went off the air as well. We talk about in detail the Money in the Bank winners, everything that happened, of course, Alexa Bliss's Money in the Bank cash-in. So there's loads of content for all of you to go check out. And you know what that means? That means there is no better time to subscribe to the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. Make sure to smash that subscribe button, as well as to click on that notification bell. So every time a video gets uploaded, a video like that breaking news story, a lot of you may have missed it. Every time that I upload, click on that notification bell, and you ain't missing anything. Make sure to go check it out. Breaking news, big cash, Raw review, Money in the Bank, NXT TakeOver Chicago, all of that content, as well as so much more content to come behind the mic coming this weekend. And there are some tournaments, WWE tournaments, going on over the summer, that including the UK tournament. We're going to be talking about it all right here on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. UK tournament review will be up on the channel. I believe that is next Monday and Tuesday. It's a 2-day event, so we're going to be reviewing that right here on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. Everything regarding the WWE covered right here on Ringside Wrestling Entertainment. So make sure to subscribe, make sure to click on that notification bell, and make sure to go support through the social media, that being Twitter and Instagram. Links can be found down below to both of those things. Both more places where you can, of course, get updates on everything going on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. So make sure to go follow both of those social media accounts. And, of course, like this video if you enjoy what you're hearing here, as well as to comment, what did you think about SmackDown Live here tonight? I'm in an uppity mood. I thought SmackDown Live was a very good show here tonight. Best SmackDown Live of 2018, as a matter of fact. Make sure to comment in the comment section below what you thought. Did you think this SmackDown Live was as good as I'm praising it to be? Did you think it was a little worse? Leave it all in the comment section below, because like I always say, your opinion is just as important as mine. And for now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be going straight into talking about SmackDown Live here tonight. And like I previously mentioned, SmackDown Live started off here tonight with your women's champion. I can't even believe to this point she's been women's champion for like 2 months now, and I still can't believe that I'm calling this woman the SmackDown Women's Champion. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Enzo and Cass, and of course back down in NXT, it was Enzo, Cass, and Carmella. That was the trio. That was your little raggedy New York trio, and who would have thought that out of all 3 members, it would be Carmella. Carmella, who broke out and had the most success. Now Enzo and Cass, they have both been fired. They have both been released from the WWE. And Carmella surprisingly remains as your SmackDown Women's Champion. And she has a win or 2 wins over Charlotte Flair and 1 win over Asuka. That is disgusting. That is so disgusting. Either way, of course, at Money in the Bank, the end result was Carmella pinning Asuka. So disgusting. After a distraction from James Ellsworth that made Asuka look like an absolute fool and a shitty kick, Carmella was, of course, walking out and retaining her SmackDown Women's Championship the same way she walked in. And here tonight, of course, she was on SmackDown Live to gloat and make fun of the fact that she now has wins over both Charlotte Flair and Asuka. So that was the way the show started off. Here tonight, James Ellsworth had his piece to say, and they once again ended up getting the better hand over Asuka. Once again here tonight, after Asuka confronted both Carmella and James Ellsworth here tonight on SmackDown Live. Like always, I'm going to play you guys a segment right here on the review. Believe me, it's not anything to be praising or going crazy over. So if you missed this segment, if you missed the beginning of SmackDown Live, you missed nothing. This was a very terrible way to start off the show. A show that would otherwise be very, very good. And you can tell by my enthusiasm talking about this segment that this crap was pretty bad. But like I do each and every single week on the SmackDown Live review, I'm going to play you guys the audio for the opening segment of SmackDown Live here tonight. Here it was.
I won the Money in the Bank contract. I successfully cashed in to become the SmackDown Women's Champion. And I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I beat Charlotte Flair twice!
Oh, so cringe, so cringe, so cringe.
And this past Sunday at Money in the Bank, I did the unthinkable. I beat Asuka. Wait for it. Do you guys want to know the best part? This is the best part. Just wait for it. It's coming up right here. Just listen closely. I did it all by myself.
No, you didn't.
I made the Empress of Tomorrow bow down to the Princess of Staten Island. I did. That's right, me. I did it.
So out came Asuka, or at least we thought. I could tell right away that this was James Ellsworth, just from the way they have the suit set up. But it was James Ellsworth who came out here tonight dressed as Asuka, and he even had Carmella fooled. But unfortunately, he took off the mask. That hideous face was revealed, and he had words to say.
No one was ready for Ellsworth.
So terrible.
Especially Asuka.
Oh my.
Now shut your traps, people, because I have something very special to say to my princess. You know that how the saying goes, when you love someone, let them leave, and I don't remember the rest of that saying. It's not important. What's important here is I'm back. And I'm back to serve the greatest woman in history.
So out came the real Asuka this time around, thankfully, and this led to a stare down between her and Ellsworth. I can explain what happened from here on out because she kicked Ellsworth in the nuts, and that allowed, her taking down Ellsworth allowed Carmella to hit one of those terrible looking kicks, and Asuka was once again fooled and toppled here tonight at the hands of this little odd couple that is Carmella and James Ellsworth. You've got to be kidding me with this crap. This was very, very terrible, and I feel bad for Asuka that she has to deal with this crap. If WWE believes that James Ellsworth is going to enhance the WWE Championship reign or the WWE Women's Championship reign of Carmella, that is an absolutely pathetic thought right there. Carmella is a terrible women's champion. She is the last thing from believable in the ring with anybody, let alone Asuka. Yet they tried to comprise a 15-minute matchup between the two at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. You got to be kidding me with that one. And her mic skills are not good. She's very, very annoying. And irresistible on the microphone. And I cannot stand her at all. I want her to leave the television as soon as she gets on it. And James Ellsworth, that sight, that presence, hearing that voice, makes it all even worse. Poor Asuka. I knew that WWE could not keep anything good from NXT. And even on Monday Night Raw, they kept hope and they kept faith and they kept the essence of Asuka. But lo and behold, on SmackDown Live, post-defeat from Charlotte at WrestleMania, and now I guess post-defeat from Carmella at Money in the Bank, WWE has tarnished whatever semblance of the NXT Asuka was left. This is terrible. Holy shit. But from here on out, SmackDown Live actually turned into a pretty decent show. From here on out, we went into Billie Kay versus Becky Lynch, and this was a very, very decent matchup on SmackDown Live. There's no doubt about it that Becky Lynch needs some momentum on this show, and there's no doubt that I believe, in my mind, that Becky Lynch is going to be set up for a women's championship opportunity, come it be, whenever it may be, hopefully going into SummerSlam on this show. And if you want to do that, you have to have her getting wins, and whether it's against Asuka or Carmella, knowing WWE, they're probably going to keep the title on Carmella until SummerSlam. But if that be the case, then I would put the title on Becky Lynch. If Asuka's not going to be able to do it, which sounds absolutely disgusting, the fact that Asuka's not going to be able to topple Carmella of all people. But either way, if Asuka is not going to be able to topple the champion that is Carmella, I guess, if she's not going to be able to topple that, if Charlotte's not going to be able to topple that, I'm saying that the next challenger in line should be Becky Lynch, and they're slowly building her up, slowly but surely. Got to win over Billie Kay tonight. She got to win over Charlotte I believe, like 2 weeks ago or the week before. So if you're going to continue to build Becky up like this, I say keep it consistent. Maybe next week or the week after that, she faces Peyton Royce and she gets some wins under her belt. But you look at this in the Iconics, they cut a pre-match promo, and it was a little bit less annoying than what it usually is on this show each and every single week. But I have no idea what they're doing with the Iconics. I mean, these women have not gotten a win on SmackDown Live. They haven't gotten their big break. It's like they were brought to this show to be names that you can just throw at the top stars. I don't like that whatsoever. I don't like it a single bit, but Becky Lynch did get the win here tonight, and this was a pretty decent matchup after she locked in the disarmor. The tricks of the Iconics were not enough to topple the last kicker. But either way, we went into the first great thing from here on out on SmackDown Live, and that was the way Jeff Hardy was handled here tonight. This was probably one of my favorite things of the entire night. And it was so simple here tonight. Jeff Hardy is going back to wearing face paint, and the way they did this was absolutely fantastic. And it seems like his target as the United States Champion from here on out will be Shinsuke Nakamura. Here is the segment for Jeff Hardy here tonight on the show.
Last Sunday at Money in the Bank, Shinsuke Nakamura failed to make the count of 10. AJ Styles was victorious. He's moved on. I have a memory that won't move on. A memory lodged inside my brain about what Nakamura did to me last Tuesday. His knee collided with my face, sending a shockwave through my epidermis, reverberating through my subcutaneous tissue, rattling my skeletal system, and shaking my soul. But his actions had an unintended consequence. Instead of unsettling me, his actions made me sharper focused. My eyes were closed before.
And he turned around to reveal the face paint.
Open. Shinsuke, I see you.
So there it was. Shinsuke Nakamura versus Jeff Hardy seems to be the next feud lined up for the United States Championship. And there is no doubt in my mind that that's going to be a great feud, but what I loved most of all was this attitude that they gave Jeff Hardy here tonight, and definitely bringing the face paint back, making Jeff Hardy this charismatic, if I can even speak here, this charismatic enigma once again is exactly what I want to see, and exactly what Jeff Hardy needs to really get that edge in on himself. Maybe they can bring back his old theme music that everybody loves. Bring Jeff Hardy back into that stage, that popular stage that he was at once in the WWE. I saw comments on Twitter and people are saying, like, now I need to start watching SmackDown Live once again. Jeff Hardy's a very popular character. He very much is. He's a very popular guy, and there was one point in the WWE where Jeff Hardy was the most popular superstar in the entire company. I think it's time we get back to making that Jeff Hardy known again, and definitely there were parts of his character that brought that out. One was the face paint, the over-the-top entrance, and the over-the-top movements that were almost sexual-esque in a manner, but the theme music was definitely part of that, and it seems like WWE is going to give Jeff Hardy back those tools that he needs to really become Jeff Hardy, the charismatic enigma, once again. And I love the way that this promo was carried out, because Jeff Hardy, you got to go back and watch it. They have it on WWE.com. He had his face turned, and it looked like there was this blue lighting on him, so you weren't really sure. It looked like they were hinting at it, but they had this blue lighting on him, and I'm questioning, is he going to have face paint on? Are they going to bring it back? And he turns around, and it's the face paint, and it looks good. It looks badass as well. Now, this has me wondering, is this going to be Jeff Hardy, like, with that extra edge on him? Is that what we're going to see here? And it's just the bringing back of the face paint? Or he said open. His eyes are now open. Is this going to be open Jeff Hardy? Is that what they're hinting at here? I mean, you had broken Matt Hardy in TNA. I mean, now you have woken Matt Hardy on Monday Night Raw. Is this the SmackDown Jeff Hardy version? Is this Brother Nero making his return once more, but now to the WWE as open Jeff Hardy? Is that the case here? Because that would be very, very ridiculous, and that is actually something that I would be down for. On so many different levels, it's not even funny, but this definitely left some questions in our head. Where are they going to go with this? What is the path for Jeff Hardy going forward? We know one thing, he is going to be feuding against Shinsuke Nakamura, and Shinsuke Nakamura cut an absolutely great promo here tonight on SmackDown Live. We're going to play that for you guys when it comes to that part of the review, but holy shit, I absolutely dug the hell out of what they were doing with Jeff Hardy here tonight, and I cannot wait to see where this goes. That's what I love. I want to be left with that excitement of, I want to see where this goes. I want to tune in next week to see what is going to happen between Jeff Hardy and Shinsuke Nakamura. What are going to be the changes? What is going to be this new edge on Jeff Hardy? Because we definitely have seen a more tranquil Jeff Hardy ever since returning last year at WrestleMania, teaming with his brother Matt. And even in a more singles capacity, it's been a tranquil Jeff Hardy. I want to see a character. I want to see an edge to Jeff Hardy. I want to see the Jeff Hardy as a person be amped to the 110th percentile, the 100% degree, and I think that's exactly what we're getting on SmackDown Live going forward. That's my prediction right there, but leave it in the comment section below. Tell me, what do you think is going to be the case here? Is Jeff Hardy just going to be a more aggressive version of himself, or are we going to see a broken version of Jeff Hardy, of Brother Nero, known as Open Jeff Hardy? What's the case? Leave it all in the comment section below. Because for now, we went into Sanity and their debut here tonight. The announcers hyped up Sanity ahead of their TV debut here tonight. I loved all the visuals that they gave. They give them a little mini video package here tonight. And Sanity made their name known, but that was after we came back from the break where Renee Young, she was backstage with Daniel Bryan, and let me tell you, every time Daniel Bryan cuts a goddamn promo, this shit gets you hyped for what's coming out. I mean, holy shit, Daniel Bryan cuts a hell of a promo. Very, very underrated promo is Daniel Bryan. Either way, she reveals that he's entering the gauntlet match first and asks how he will survive. Bryan says he's not going to survive, he's going to win. He gives props to Rusev, Big E, and Samoa Joe, but he takes a subtle shot at The Miz, and that will come back when we're going over the gauntlet match detail for detail. But he goes on about how he will win, then asks Renee if he can ask her a question. He asks if he thinks she's ready to take on the biggest and baddest superstars of WWE. He has to ask her again because she's like, yeah, I think you have the tools. I think you're capable. And he asks her again, and this time she says yes. And he says, that's the word I want to hear. Yes, yes, yes. And that gets you rooted for the guy. That was a clever little way to incorporate the yes. I love that right there. Daniel Bryan was going to enter the gauntlet match first, and we will tell the story. We will talk about that. But first, let's talk about the debut of Sanity, and it was against the Usos here tonight. They made their entrance, and I mean the entrance of Sanity. It's a pretty cool spectacle. The lights go out. It looks like mayhem. It looks like maniacs are about to enter the ring, and maniacs are exactly the way that they were portrayed here tonight. The announcers did a great job at portraying the impact of Sanity, and it was against the Usos. I was like, holy shit, this could be a great matchup. This is what you're going to debut Sanity with. Well, they didn't quite go the route where this actually turned into a match. This went more the route of insanity, because Sanity decided to attack the Usos before the matchup, and it did not turn out well for the Usos here tonight. Eric Young hit his neck breaker off the second rope while Alexander Wolf, if I can get the name right, holy shit. Either way, while Alexander Wolf hit the neck breaker, or was holding him up for Eric Young to hit the neck breaker. And of course, Killian Dane hit that beautiful splash off the second that all the big guys do. Absolutely great stuff from Sanity. They laid out the Usos here tonight, and I can't wait to see this turn into a feud. But the thing that shocks me here the most is that Nikki Cross, who is the female member of Sanity, or was down in NXT, Nikki Cross was not brought up with Sanity. And the Usos, of course, they have Naomi as Jimmy's wife, or Jay's wife, I don't even know. But I think it's Jimmy's wife. Naomi's Jimmy's wife, and Naomi was doing a program with the Usos against the Bludgeon Brothers, who don't have a female act. So it would have been set up perfectly for the Usos to bring in Naomi, and you can do two members of Sanity against the Usos with Nikki Cross in the mix, and of course with whatchamacallit in the mix, with Naomi in the mix as well. So that would have worked out very, very perfectly, and I think that could have set for a very, very good feud between the two guys, and given Nikki Cross something to do, given Naomi something to do, who aren't necessarily in the limelight right now. Nikki Cross just came out of an NXT Women's Championship feud, so maybe they're going to bring Nikki Cross, and maybe Naomi will get herself involved. Maybe they're going to have her come out next week and say, listen, Jimmy, listen, Jay, I'm tired of you guys getting into feuds with guys who are legitimately going to hurt you. The Bludgeon Brothers, they have no mercy. And now Sanity has no mercy either. They're not going to let up. These guys are going to hurt you. So then you can continue this storyline for the next couple weeks until Naomi's out there and Sanity says, you want to bring your wife into this? You want to bring the female into this? You know what? We'll fight fire with fire. Nikki Cross comes out, just absolutely beats the shit out of Naomi, ravages all over the place the way only Nikki Cross can do, the screaming, the yelling, the insanity. I absolutely love Nikki Cross and everything she goddamn does. Probably my favorite part of the Sanity act, and the fact that that's being left out, I don't know. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Nikki Cross added a presence. She added that craziness to Sanity that was really like there in NXT. Now it's kind of like a presence missing. It's a little bit less of a notch. Hopefully they bring her up, because she's not. What's she gonna do? She just had her moment to shine in NXT. I understand why they didn't have original plans for her, but why not bring Nikki Cross back into the mix? I don't get it. Maybe they're saving her as a surprise, but she was not brought up, at least from our attention right now. But we moved on here to see Shinsuke Nakamura be interviewed here tonight on the show. And Shinsuke cut an equally hilarious as was great promo here tonight on SmackDown Live. Shinsuke Nakamura is a fantastic heel, and he promised to close Jeff Hardy's eyes here tonight on SmackDown Live. Here was his interview with Renee Young.
Shinsuke, I know that you have requested this interview to explain your loss to AJ Styles in your last man standing match at Money in the Bank.
What is a loss?
Look, Shinsuke, if you're going to pretend that you don't know how to speak English again...
No, I understand exactly what you said. But how did I lose? I'm standing right in front of you. The only reason AJ is still WWE champion is because the referee counted very fast. And he didn't count in Japanese. Very, very
Fantastic.
Okay, well, what's your reaction to Jeff Hardy's comments from earlier?
Who?
Jeff Hardy.
No need to yell. Jeff Hardy's eyes may be open. If he crosses me again, I will close them.
Chilling words. Fantastic promo by Shinsuke Nakamura. Always so cool, always so calm, always so collected. And a comedic presence that you can't beat. Holy shit. Fantastic stuff from Shinsuke. I cannot wait to see what this feud will divulge into. But we went into a SmackDown Live tag team title matchup. And I have a negative for this. I sound positive for most of this SmackDown Live review. But where the hell is this tag team title match coming from? Last night on the kickoff show to Money in the Bank, which I'll give you one thing. Who the hell cares about a kickoff show? Does that really count? But either way, it was Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson versus the Bludgeon Brothers again here tonight. But I would say that this matchup went far beyond whatever the hell we saw on the Money in the Bank kickoff show. This matchup was a lot better and actually had you believing at one point or another that Gallows and Anderson actually had a way or a will to win this matchup here tonight. And there was this great moment at the end of this matchup where Gallows was coming from behind to take down Harper, who Eric Rowan was about to tag, or Eric Rowan, who Harper was about to tag. And it seems like Harper was about to betray, or Rowan, if I could get the names right. It seems like Rowan was about to betray Harper. He fell off, but realistically he was just taking Gallows out behind them. So it was like, wait, what the hell's going on here? They're going to turn on each other? What the hell is that? But it wasn't quite the case. He was just taking care of Gallows, and it turned out to be the best way. But there was actually a roll-up from Carl Anderson, who was still in the ring, and I was like, holy shit, is that going to be it? Turned into a little fast-paced action right there, because Harper did go into the ropes, make the tag to Rowan, blind tag. Of course, Anderson did not see it, and they were able to pop up. Harper popped Anderson up into the arms of Rowan to hit that double team maneuver right there. Great matchup. Very good matchup, actually. Not great, but much better than what they did. Very good TV matchup. There's no doubt about that. And much better than what they did at the Money in the Bank kickoff show. Impromptu match. Really don't know where this was coming from after Gallows and Anderson lost clean. But they put it on SmackDown Live here tonight. And it wasn't necessarily the worst thing. I'll tell you that much. Either way, from here on out, we went straight into the Gauntlet matchup, and there was an hour left of SmackDown Live. So I was like, holy shit, they're going to give this its due time. I'm glad. That's some good shit right there. And that's exactly what they did. This matchup started off, like promised, with Daniel Bryan. And Daniel Bryan and Big E were the two to start off this matchup. And let me tell you, this was some good stuff here tonight. Very good Gauntlet matchup. And if there's something that shines in this Gauntlet matchup, it was how good Big E is in this ring. Big E's a very, very good in-ring competitor. Very underrated under the fact that he is in a tag team and has been in a tag team for how many years with the New Day. I mean, if WWE, you already know that the shine out, the breakout star in the eyes of the WWE, if New Day were ever to break up, that's Big E. That is Big E. WWE is going to put the big man, one, because Big E has a crazy goddamn physique, and two, if you really look at it up and down, Big E is crazy good in the ring, and he was putting on a great matchup with Daniel Bryan. This matchup pretty went in full. It was to start the gauntlet matchup. Both of these guys were fresh. Daniel Bryan wasn't putting on the, of course, series that he had to put on yet, and there were some great spots in this matchup. At one point, Big E caught Daniel Bryan with this monstrous clothesline, flipped him inside out, picked him up. I thought he was going to flip it into a big ending. No, he did a unique maneuver that you don't usually see, even in his flurry of offense in a tag team matchup from Big E. He did like this drop onto the backbreaker. That was pretty cool from like a torture rack position. I definitely enjoyed the hell out of that. It looked very, very good. But either way, it was Daniel Bryan who got the win here after multiple attacks on the leg of Big E. I love the risk that it seems like. This is what's so great about building up all these finishers. At one point, Daniel Bryan was trying to lock in the yes lock. I almost called it the LaBelle lock. I still have the classic Daniel Bryan in my head from way back in like 2011-12, where it was still the LaBelle lock before it became the yes lock. But no, it is the yes lock. Either way, just a little tangent right there, or a side rant. But either way, he kept trying to lock in the yes lock. Big E power monsters out of it. It almost looked like Daniel Bryan was about to lock in the heel hook, and I'm like, oh shit, he locked in the heel hook, it's over. He locked in the yes lock, it's over. But at the end of the day, it was the knee that took Big E out and gave, of course, 1, 2, 3 for Big E. So those were two near things right there. Like, holy shit, it's over. And this is the rant that I continue to go on, and I even went on this rant a little bit in the NXT TakeOver Chicago review this past Saturday, that giving these superstars multiple finishers make these matches better. Because Daniel Bryan, you think about it, he has 3 legit finishers. He locks in that yes lock, it's probably over. He locks in that heel hook, it's probably over. He hits that knee, it's probably over. And he teased all 3, hit 1, and each and every single time you are on the edge of your seat, you're thinking it's over. And when he hit that big knee, it was. So great stuff. I enjoyed the hell out of that opening contest between Big E and Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan, we already know how good he is, but that was a little breakout moment for Big E in this matchup. Really goes to show you how great he is, not just in a tag team vicinity, but as well in a singles capacity. And if WWE ever does decide to break up the New Day and push Big E as the breakout star of the New Day, as you undoubtedly know they will, Big E's going to have an easy time flourishing and making his way to the top, because he's great at what he does. You cannot deny that for a single second. But after this, it was big trouble for Daniel Bryan, because out came the Samoan submission machine, Samoa Joe, and this was absolutely fantastic as well. This gauntlet matchup in general, great stuff in this matchup. I love the way they booked it. I was kind of like, wouldn't you have Samoa Joe come out and win this? I was thinking in the mindset, Samoa Joe's your number 1 contender, that's it. But WWE kind of surprised me. They went with Rusev, and there were a lot of valid names here. I could see them going for the dream match with Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles. The only name I really didn't see winning, and that is because he is part of a tag team, he is part of the New Day, was Big E. But the 4 other names in this matchup all had stakes that you can say, I can see WWE doing that. You can definitely see WWE going for AJ Styles and Samoa Joe. You had Samoa Joe come out a couple months back, or a couple weeks back, let me not stretch that, but you had Samoa Joe come out a couple weeks back and say he staked claim to the WWE Championship. So you're thinking, I could see them going Samoa Joe, AJ Styles at Extreme Rules, extending this throughout the entire summer, and going for Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles going into SummerSlam as well. I can see them giving the win to Daniel Bryan and doing the dream match, because you know how eager WWE is to give you those dream matches left and right. I can see them going for The Miz. The Miz can definitely stake claim to the WWE Championship, and maybe that can lay way for the feud that we're going to see between The Miz and Daniel Bryan. And Rusev, that was probably the least out of those 3 other names, but Rusev, I can see WWE giving Rusev that underdog story in this matchup, and I would have enjoyed seeing that, and that was exactly what they did. So this gauntlet match not only laid way to be a great matchup and gave me a surprising finish, but it was quite unpredictable as well because there were 4 names in this matchup out of the 5 that realistically could have been the number 1 contender against AJ Styles for the WWE Championship, and I appreciate the fact that WWE gave you some competitors in this matchup who you can honestly say that is a matchup that I would like to see, and that is a matchup that I can see WWE going with as well. So I like the names of the competitors, but moving on, Samoa Joe versus Daniel Bryan, and you immediately knew Daniel Bryan was going to have a hard time getting past Samoa Joe if he even did that. I'm like, wow, they're going to take Daniel Bryan out this early instead of giving him more of an underdog story. Maybe they would have thrown a Rusev out there and had Daniel Bryan go through a Rusev before Samoa Joe came out to actually win this matchup. But I love the way they did this because they protected Samoa Joe in this matchup. You definitely had Samoa Joe lay down the punishment on Daniel Bryan in this matchup while he was in the ring. He hit him with multiple kicks. You already know Samoa Joe's legitimate. You're in there with Samoa Joe, you ain't going to have an easy time. One of my favorite parts of this little section of the matchup, because it was a whole gauntlet matchup, my favorite part here was when Samoa Joe had Daniel Bryan in multiple submission moves. First, he locked in the half crab after doing that thing that he does. I forget what it is, but he locked in the Boston Crab, the modified Boston Crab that he does. Then he went into an STF. Then he went into a crossface, and then he started wrenching the arm. That was fantastic, and I love how that displayed that Samoa Joe is a Samoan submission machine, and commentary made the great note when they were like, you know, Daniel says he knows all these submissions, but Samoa Joe, he's a Samoan submission machine for a reason. He can hurt you just as many ways as Daniel Bryan can. I love that line right there. And I love the way this matchup was booked because of that very moment. But either way, this matchup did come to a close, and Daniel Bryan did survive Samoa Joe, but WWE protected the big man in this matchup because it was outside that Samoa Joe, he was kind of risking it and trying to get Daniel Bryan out, or at least that's the way I perceived it. He was trying to get Daniel Bryan counted out because he locked in the coquina clutch in this matchup, and he was trying to knock out Daniel Bryan. Meanwhile, while he let go of the hold, Daniel Bryan kind of tripped him up and got in the ring before him, or he kind of got out of the hold beforehand, before Samoa Joe could really knock him out, and Samoa Joe could not make it back in the ring in time. Daniel Bryan did, but by this time, Daniel Bryan was completely laid out, but Samoa Joe was eliminated by countout. So they protected Samoa Joe. I'm fine with that. Samoa did not become number 1 contender. That was my personal choice. So I'm like, oh shit, who's going to win this now? You only had The Miz and Rusev left. And The Miz, he had easy pickings to Daniel Bryan either way. But surprisingly enough, and this is what I was talking about with the question that was laid earlier in the review, or to start off the review, I was talking about, well, what is WWE doing with Daniel Bryan? Are they going to put him in the tag team division of all places? What the hell is going on here? Because the Bludgeon Brothers came out and they laid out Daniel Bryan with their finishing move, and you kind of had an altercation before this because the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championship matchup, Daniel Bryan made his entrance before the Bludgeon Brothers really finished coming out, but I really didn't believe that this would be a reason for the Bludgeon Brothers to come and cost Daniel Bryan this matchup. I thought that was just one of those little altercations that's really hinting towards nothing, but that you're just getting on WWE television. I don't know what the purpose was behind this. Maybe the Bludgeon Brothers of all people are the Miz's hired guns. I have no idea. But the Bludgeon Brothers and Daniel Bryan did have a little altercation before this matchup where Daniel Bryan was making his entrance while the Bludgeon Brothers was still making their way to the back. And in the middle of the ramp, the Bludgeon Brothers stopped Daniel in his tracks, and they kind of had this little stare down. He was surrounded by both big men, Rowan and Harper, and Daniel Bryan's music just stopped. And it started playing again. He made his entrance as normal, but I didn't really think anything of it. I thought that was just one of those random craps that WWE does. But lo and behold, what happens here? But Daniel Bryan gets attacked by the Bludgeon Brothers in this matchup. Finishing move hit. The Miz comes out, and hits the skull-crushing finale on Daniel Bryan. 1, 2, 3. The salt is laid right there, and that was fantastic. That right there was fantastic. I think you could have just had The Miz run out after Daniel Bryan was done with Samoa Joe. I don't think you needed to do that Bludgeon Brothers crap, but I don't know. Is WWE entering Daniel Bryan into the fray here? Because you clearly have a feud with The Miz looming. That's absolutely fantastic in and of itself right there. The fact that you laid the salt in the womb and you really had Miz and Daniel Bryan, first of all, throwing shots at each other throughout the entire night. You had Daniel Bryan in his promo throw a shot at The Miz, saying that The Miz was not the best that SmackDown Live has to offer. He named Rusev, Samoa Joe, and, of course, Big E as the best SmackDown Live has to offer. And then Renee Young was like, what about The Miz? And he's like, he's not the best SmackDown Live has to offer. I said, the best. He's not. Either way, Miz then comes out here tonight, gets his retribution for that line, and he gets his retribution on Daniel Bryan, gets the one-up on Daniel Bryan here tonight because he hits Daniel with the skull-crushing finale and takes him out of the gauntlet matches, ruin his dream to be the WWE Champion, the number one contender at least, and The Miz continues on in this matchup against Rusev. So as far as what they're doing with Daniel Bryan, I'm absolutely mind-boggled. It seems like they're going to enter him in the tag team division. WWE doesn't really have a tag team division right now because most of it has been killed by the dominance of the Bludgeon Brothers. So I don't know what the situation is here. The Bludgeon Brothers have ran through the entire SmackDown Live tag team division. Is WWE really going to put Daniel Bryan and a partner, I guess, of his choosing in the way of the Bludgeons to try to revitalize this division? Is that what they're doing here? Because I have no idea. But who the hell would Daniel Bryan even team with? Only guy I can see is Ty Dillinger. I'd love to see a team between Ty Dillinger and Daniel Bryan. That'd be fantastic. But does that really make sense? Who the hell is Daniel Bryan going to feud against? I have no idea what they're doing with that situation. Maybe this was just because of the entrance. Maybe this would just be something setting up for next week where it will be a six-man tag, Gallows and Anderson and Daniel Bryan against The Miz and the Bludgeons. I have no idea, but whatever you guys think, leave it in the comment section below. Continuing on with this gauntlet matchup, from here on out, besides that little hiccup, besides that little question mark, which in due time will be answered, it was the Rusev and Miz combination that ended off this gauntlet matchup, and they had a pretty decent matchup to end this show off. And quite frankly, I enjoyed the hell out of the finish. There's no doubt about that one, because Rusev hit his Machka kick and locked the Miz into the Accolade. Miz was dealt with, Miz was tapping out, and Rusev Day rightfully became the number one contender to the WWE Championship. What a great decision by WWE. Finally giving Rusev and rewarding Rusev for getting himself over, for creating all those t-shirt sales. I think this is a great, great, great gift to Rusev. I don't think he's going to win the WWE Championship, and he doesn't need to win the WWE Championship, but at least they're positioning him in a main event situation. That is fantastic against AJ Styles. I think him and AJ are going to put on a fantastic matchup together, and this is definitely an opportunity that Rusev deserves and has earned for himself. There's no doubt about that one, but either way, after this matchup, AJ Styles did come out. They had their little stare down, laid down the WWE Championship, did Styles, and it was Aiden English who got in the way. They had their first moment of build. Aiden English got in the way, whatever this is supposed to mean, and Rusev and AJ shook hands, but it was Aiden who wanted to shake hands with Styles, and instead, when Styles was about to shake his hand too, he slid the hands back, and AJ popped him in the face for that, and Rusev's like, why the hell do you have to do that? So what's the purpose behind that? So it seems like Aiden English might be the cog in the fuel for Rusev during this feud for Rusev and AJ Styles. He might be the crutch that they use to get this feud going, to get the heat going. So it's going to be interesting what they do there. But Rusev is your number one contender for the WWE Championship, and that is what ended off a great edition of SmackDown Live here tonight. It is definitely deserved for Rusev to be your number one contender, and I think that will be fantastic. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, that was SmackDown Live here tonight, and that is your SmackDown Live review. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed each and every single thing that you have heard on this review, because for now we're going to go closing in here. Make sure to go check out all the other content, like I mentioned in detail in the beginning of the review. Raw reviews, SmackDown reviews, everything regarding the WWE, pay-per-view reviews, behind the mic, all of that right here on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel each and every single week. For now, this has been Joel Perez, and I am out of here. Thank you very, very much for watching this video. I will see you all next time right here on Ringside Wrestling.